What's up, guys? So here's that video I was going to tell you guys I was going to do. Um, don't make fun of me, but I bought this for like $1 at the Dollar Tree. Um, Not the tools; it's the investor that makes the investor. So just kind of bear with me here. I thought I'd write this down because it's a lot easier for me because I'm more of like a visual learner, and this might help a lot of people out as well. For people that just kind of verbalize everything, it doesn't stick. I don't think as well as like putting it out and letting people actually see it. This is going to be a three-part series. I kind of divided everything, as you can see. This is the method that I hear about pretty much 90% of people talking about is the brackets. This is going to be the first part of the series. There's going to be two more parts. The next one's going to be how to sell off in percentages, and the last one will be increments. The percentages is going to be a little bit more advanced. It's going to take a lot more mental fortitude, I guess you could say. But yeah, this will give people some options and kind of put it in perspective, and they can go back to these videos and they can kind of see which one works best for them. I try not to spend too much time on this because I don't want to. I don't want to sit there and over critique myself. I'll just never get it done. So I just did it, and here it is. So okay, so the brackets method. This is what most people are telling you about. The first time I saw this mentioned was through Lou versus Wall Street. Um, so a lot of the numbers we were talking about before, or they were that 3 to 800 is their first bracket, second bracket, third bracket, and this is some of the higher end of what I've heard people say. I believe that's definitely possible, especially everything we've been seeing. I know some people are saying a lot higher, but I'm just kind of keeping this realistic, and it's kind of just a general guideline. Like these numbers aren't something to take. This is something to take with a grain of salt. This is just for demonstration purposes. So you got your bracket numbers, then you got times your shares, and equals whatever amount shares you got towards that. There's different brackets. Obviously, you can see what this is. It's really kind of sparse. There's a lot of price in between these brackets. So as you can tell, like this is probably good if there's like a really fast run up. There's going to be like a lot of volatility, so this would be a good option if that comes into play. This would also be really good if somebody doesn't want to put in a lot of sell orders. They just want to kind of set it and forget it, maybe put in a couple limit orders, or they want to sit there by their phone, or they can't because they're at work, which a lot of us are. This would be really good. It's kind of like setting the game on easy mode, I guess you could say. Just not a lot to it. It's pretty rude and fairly elementary. As far as investing goes. I wrote down over here some tips and tricks. Let me try to zoom in on it a little bit. I know I got shitty handwriting, but tips and tricks. So odd numbers. This is something I learned from CSI. I thought it was a really good idea. So a lot of people are going to have these psychological levels in their brain, and I learned this from trading forex as well. Like say you're trading like a certain currency, and it reaches a certain level. It's a really strong level of support or resistance, and they're thinking about doing a sell order, or selling their shares at a certain order, like to take profit. And what they'll do is they'll set it for, like, say it's Euro USD, and it'll be like 1.20 flat. Now that's a strong psychological level, and there's a lot of volatility that goes on around there, but it's got a lot of eyes on that level. So the problem with that is if you sell at, say, AMC is at $5,000 flat, 5,000.00, which is just strong. That means a lot of other people are going to be thinking about doing it at the same time too. So the potential problem with that is there might be so many people trying to sell off their orders, and by the time they get to your order, you may not be able to get your position filled because um, the price has dropped off because there's such strong selling pressure. It's going down. So the next thing you know, you might get a partial fill or something, and next thing you know, it's going to. And I mean, if you put in a market order, you might put in at $5,000, and I might push all the way down to like 4,600. The next thing you know, you're selling off all your shares at 4,600. I mean, you might be fine with that, but that's just something to think about, you know. So, with all of the way, here's the. I'm calling this like a weighted divide between the brackets. So basically, what that means is you want to sell off so many shares in between your brackets. Like, say you want to do these first three brackets. Well, I guess this would kind of go into the percentages, but just kind of like a basic form of it. So some people might want to sell off, 25% of their shares in here to kind of secure their profits and kind of come out ahead and make sure they're secure. Right here, they might go, okay, well, I'll go ahead and sell off about 50, percent. I'm just making this kind of basic for you guys. So 50, so that'll leave 25% right over here. Might sell 50% here. That way they get a big chunk of change here. Like, say they average out in between 1 to 5, that'd be about what, 3,500. So say you sell 50% at 3,500. I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but trying to keep this real basic here. So they kind of like really get set up, and then like if this last bracket they got 25% of their shares riding, they're not sweating anymore because they're done cleaned up pretty good here, and they can maybe let their 25% of their shares ride here, or maybe even divide it up here, maybe 15 and 10% here, or whatever they want to do. Maybe it's going to rip so faster here that they're not even going to get to sell their shares until here. So that's something to think about too. Maybe you didn't get to sell your 25% shares here, and you're already in this bracket by the time you want to sell. So you got 75% maybe you want to drop off here because you didn't get to it in time. So that's a very good possibility too. There's just a lot of things to think about here. Yeah, so here's some pros and cons. Pros I put on the left here. There are, okay, I put that right. Okay, so less sell orders. So that means you won't be selling off quite as much, so you don't have to sit there and worry about tracking down sell orders as much. Screenshotting, things of that nature. Putting down proof that you actually sold those shares, and making, setting yourself up for any legal disputes going on. It's very simple to maintain. There's not much to that, so it's really user friendly. The only problems, like, I didn't put it down the cons over here, but the thing that could happen is what was I going to say? I kind of slipped my mind here. But let me go, because this will be easier to dispute because of your, you won't have as many shares to track down, so like screenshots, things of that nature, so you can represent your case if you get screwed out. Yeah, so my likes and dislikes. Likes, obviously beginner friendly. My dislikes is there's a long interval between your brackets, and that means there's a lot of price area right in between there that anything can happen. So for instance, you sell off your 25% of the shares here. Let's say you just, for example, you did that, you're good, you got your initial investment back. You go to this next bracket, you got $4,000 there of price movement. You say, okay, well, I'm going to wait till $37.50, for example, and I'm going to sell off another 50% of my shares. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Let's say it gets to 3,500, halt, or it caps out, then it goes that way. You just got screwed out of this bracket because it is so big. You know what I mean? $4,000 of price movement. I'm not saying that it's only going to go to like 37.50 and then go down, but that's just a good, case, example to kind of, think about. And I hope I didn't want to keep this too long, but I want to keep it fairly simple, straight to the point, and maybe it can kind of help you guys really kind of get a good feel for what the pros and cons are of this. Remember, like that, I think this is going to be a big key with this bracket too, is odd numbers. Just try to be individualistic here. That's probably going to help you really get your orders filled instead of getting half orders and things of that nature. In the future, I'm going to make a video again. I made one a long time ago, but I didn't have a lot of people watching me. So I feel better now that I got a little bit more eyes on me, and I'm trying to get this information out. It's going to be the different types of sell orders, but that's going to be after this series. There's a lot of different sell orders you can do, like fill or kill or good till canceled, good for day, and you can extend to after hours. So that's really complex too. If you have a broker like Fidelity or TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, the big boys, it's not for, Robinhood investors, stuff like that. Not bashing on them, because I have Robinhood as well. But those more advanced, brokerage apps, they take a little bit more, they're more advanced. They're just more for an advanced trader, So I hope this helps you guys. Tell me, guys, what you think. If you have any questions about this in the comments, I'll try to help you out as much as I can. I'm going to get started tomorrow, hopefully. I'm probably going to do the incremental brackets next. It's not really a bracket, but it's just selling off shares as you go. And then I'm going to do the percentages last, because I feel like that one's definitely the most advanced. I'm thinking about doing a blend of like the incremental sell orders and the percentages. So hope you guys like this video. I'm going to call my girlfriend. She just called me, so talk to you guys later. Peace.